Thanks for joining us today for this short demonstration of MessageWare Server ThreatGuard. If you haven't already done so, I would encourage you to watch the accompanying introductory video where we go over the features and functions of STG at a higher level, customers' usage scenarios, and some common questions and answers. Okay, so diving right into the product, I'll just give you a quick walkthrough on the various tabs and functions here, working from left to right. On the Overview tab, you will see a list of all the servers that are being managed, and the present state. We're monitoring all of these Windows servers. There's only 2 in this example. The second tab is the Summary Threat Dashboard. You can see there's mostly zeros here. The tasks and threats are presented in each of the 5 different categories we talked about in the introductory video: web server, tasks, registry, event logs, and startup. And each type of threat, whether it be high, medium, or low, is listed here. You can see we mostly have zeros right now, so that's good. The Operate tab is basically a run status. STG is currently running and protecting these servers. The server baseline security check has been completed. That's what the database function at the bottom here indicates, as well as the local auto learn process has been completed. The next 5 tabs will show threat details. There aren't any here right now for each of the 5 categories: web server, files, tasks, registry, event logs, and startup. There's a graphical representation, a historical representation of threats by threat type, where you can zoom in on various calendar periods as well. And finally, the Rules tab. As we mentioned in the introductory video, all of these rules are set up for the various categories of threat detection, so you're all pretty much ready to go. Let's jump back to the dashboard. What I'm going to do right now is use a simple script to create a few threats and plant them on this Windows server, and we'll see what happens. So I'll go to my tool to do so. Let's click Create to generate a web shell listener. We'll create a Windows task that runs later. Let's create a service that does something that could be suspicious. We'll create a startup task. And we will even crash a random process just for good measure. These types of threats normally involve more than one element, so we've created these 5 different types of threats here to see how STG will display an alert on them. Okay, let's take a look. We'll go back to our dashboard and you can see there's now a few incidents showing, not only on the main dashboard in each of the high, medium, and low categories, but also in the more detailed, specific threat categories at the top. You can get to the detailed information 2 ways, either by clicking right on the Manage tab here in the main dashboard, which is simpler, or you can go into more detail and more history of different types of historical threats on these tabs for each of the categories here. So I'll just click on a couple here to show you. We're in the Web Server tab now, and STG has detected 2 potentially suspicious objects. There is a file called default ASPX planted on this Windows server in the following directory, and a virtual directory was added as well. So it will report on that, and the administrator has the information they need to check these things out and either verify them as safe or delete them as suspicious. The same logic holds true for the other threat categories. Let's take a look at those. There's one high risk in the task. Our simulator has created a task called Malicious Persistent Task, which is just the actual file name, and it's created it in the System 32 Tasks folder, so the administrator can certainly be aware of that, and either verify it here or proceed to the server and delete it, or take other action as needed. Let's take a look at the registry. A change has been made here to the registry that violates our safety and security rules by calling command.com, a malicious script indicator in the registry as well. The administrator has all the information they need to proceed to this location and take the appropriate action. So STG, as we mentioned in the introductory video, runs all operations locally, and therefore it's essentially instantaneous. You will see our email alerts have been generated, and were generated immediately upon these threats being created a minute or 2 ago by my threat simulator. STG starts out with basically an instant email, which is a heads up that indicates Server ThreatGuard has detected a potential security event, and you should pay attention to this sooner rather than later. It depends on the nature of the specific threats, but for example, 2 minutes after the initial alert, you'll receive a more detailed email. In this case, it's summarizing it has found 6 high, 4 medium, and 9 low potential threat indicators within this 2-minute window, and that's based on the simulated threats that I created a moment ago. The email will list the server in question or servers in question. It will provide a summary of the potential security threats by category, web server, registry, startup folder, etc. It will tell you which of our security rules were violated in each category. And finally, it will go into some details about specific threat type file locations, whether they were created or added, the file names, the directories, and so on, and other information that will be necessary to check these things out and either verify them as safe or take appropriate action to reduce the security threat. So it's very fast, essentially instantaneous, provides all the information the security team needs to react to these types of threats quickly, and to get ahead of security threats. I hope you found our demo video helpful and encourage you to run a simple trial. For more information, please contact us at messageware.com or simply follow the link to STG.